This is Bethany Cheng. I'm the physical therapist with the Rise School of Austin, and I want to talk today about doing gross motor activities with your kid at home. Now, you're not a physical therapist, I assume, and all this is kind of new. We're all stuck at home in ways we haven't been before. Maybe you're caring for a child who you haven't been caring for nearly as many hours a day before. So I'm not expecting you to become a physical therapist, but I do want to give you some of the principles I think about when I am working with your kid in the school environment or at home. So first of all, take care of yourself. Second of all, these things are things to do when you have the bandwidth for it. When you are overwhelmed and completely stressed, that's not the moment to pull out, let's work on gross motor skills. That's the moment to snuggle, to hug, to take a walk by yourself. But when you have the bandwidth, these can be fun ways to engage with your kids. So I have some principles I want to share. I have 5 principles. First, make it fun. Make it fun is probably the most important thing I'm going to say. Make it fun can look like choosing your child's special interest and using that as part of the gross motor skill. So toy cars down a ramp because your kid loves cars. That can work on walking, it can work on picking up things, it can work on squatting. But for your child, they're playing with cars. That's great. Doing videos that have music videos that are silly, like Go Noodle, can be very fun and engaging. Lots of screen time right now, but those are kind of fun screen time. Most of all, you're the most fun thing in your child's world right now. You're their caregiver who is with them 24/7 perhaps. And they are going to want to engage with you more than anything else. So if you can channel your inner Dr. Seuss, if you can be Tigger, be as silly as you can be, that will make it fun for your kid. Principle number 2, make it functional. So functional means that you don't have to stop everything and come up with an elaborate gross motor activity for your kid. Functional is when they're washing their hands. See if you have a stool that's tall enough that they can step up the steps and wash themselves. Or see if they can stand on their tiptoes to reach their hands into the water. Wash your hands a lot. It's a great time to be functional. When you're changing clothes, practicing changing clothes in standing can be a great activity. Lifting one leg, lifting the other. Rather than having your kid sit down to do it, you can work on some single leg balance and standing. So what you're sitting on during meals could be an option of functional. Is it supportive enough that your kid can really get some postural control? What you're doing as you go for a walk can be functional. Can your child walk a little further out of the stroller and then take a break versus being in the stroller the whole time? So make it functional. Number 3, just right challenge. So this is something I think about every time I'm working with a kid. Is the challenge just right? If I've got a kid who's working on crawling, I'm not going to be asking them to play basketball running around. That's not a just right challenge. But it can be a lot more small increments than that. So for example, if I'm working on throwing a ball into a basket and I notice that the kid is missing the basket pretty much every time, the activity is too challenging. So maybe I'll put a stool next to the basket so it's not as high, and then it's a just right challenge. They can get it in most of the time, but it's not totally easy. If they're getting it in every single time, it's not a just right challenge, it's too easy. So just looking at the activity your kid is doing and thinking, can make it a little easier so they have success, can make it a little harder so they're being challenged. A just right challenge. Principle number 3. Principle number 4, repetition. Repetition is super important for motor learning. And this is something I think that using those videos, using YouTube, is really helpful. If your kid wants to do some music video from YouTube 20 times and they're moving their body and they're following the motions, great. That's repetition. They're learning. They're learning how to envision their body from a video, which is really challenging, and how to move it. If they want to do it with you 20 times, compromise. Do it 10 times, take a break, come back to it. But repetition is really important. For little kids or kids who are learning a really challenging skill, they're going to need hundreds of repetitions. For example, crawling up and down stairs. Walking takes a lot of repetitions. So integrating those repetitions throughout the day is great. my fifth concept is variation. So I just said repetition, repeat, 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 but repeat with opportunities for variation. So I'm going to use the example of walking again. Walking is something we practice all day long, but often we practice it on different surfaces. So repeat working on walking on grass, on sand, on wood chips. Repeat working on walking on carpet. Throw pillows on the ground, step over the pillows, step over parents' legs. Repeat the same basic motor activity in a new context. A, it makes it more fun. B, your brain really loves a challenge, and your kid's brain does too. So when you're just walking on the tile floor that you always walk on at home, it's not a challenge. They're not really challenged to change the way they move and improve. So when they encounter a new thing, like walking on sand, then they really their brain goes into overdrive, and it really works on solving the problem. And that's where learning happens. So learning happens with repetition and variation. Also, I really like to think about different sitting variations. So sitting long sitting is one of my favorites, but also sitting with one leg bent, one leg straight. These are all sitting on the ground things. Sitting crisscross applesauce. I'm not a big fan of W sitting, but looking at, is your child moving in and out of different positions? So variation. So just to review, we've got make it fun, we've got make it functional, just right challenge, repetition, and variation. I hope that's helpful to you in thinking about motor skills at home. I'll be doing another video with some ideas for things you can use at home that may help you come up with a new fun thing. So see you soon. Thank you very much.